verse 12, Ulladhu Naarpadhu, 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. அறிவும் அறியாமையும் அற்றது அறிவாமே அறியும் அது உண்மையறிவாகாது அறிதற்கு அறிவித்தற்கு அந்நியமின்றி அவிர்தலால் தான் அறிவாகும் பாலன்று அறி. This verse also speaks about what is knowledge, what is ignorance. அறிவும் அறியாமையும் அற்றது அறிவாமே. True knowledge is that knowledge which does not have knowledge or ignorance. True knowledge is that knowledge which does not have knowledge or ignorance. It's simple. We know things through our mind, right? Through our ego, what is called ahankara, the sense of I. It is our individuality, sense of individuality, which is the I thought, which is ego, which is ahankara, which knows things, which knows IT, which knows chemistry, which knows physics, which knows aeronautical engineering, which knows French, German, Japanese, Tamil, and so on. Anything that comes under knowledge gained through mind is dismissed as ignorance, number one. Number two, anything which the mind says I am ignorant of is again dismissed as ignorance. Both knowledge, as we already saw, both knowledge and ignorance are dismissed as ignorance. Both are gone. Okay, then what is left? What is true knowledge? What is it Bhagavan calls it true knowledge? It is the self. அறிவும் அறியாமையும் அற்றது அறிவாமே அறியும் அது உண்மை அறிவாகாது. That which the mind knows is not true knowledge, he says. That which the mind knows is not true knowledge at all. Then what is knowledge? Self. Being the self is knowledge. In Upadesa Saram, Sri Bhagavan says, knowing the self. Do you want to know your true nature, your Brahman nature? Yes. Then he says, knowing the self is being the self. Because through the instrument of the mind, you cannot know. Because it is Atma which powers this instrument of mind, and the mind has a purpose. It is designed for a purpose. It is there to know the objects of the world, physical objects of the world. It cannot know the power behind it. That is the whole meaning, right? A fan is operating because of the power of the electricity. The fan, just to speak metaphorically, the fan rotates because of the power, but the fan can never know the electricity. So the mind can never know the Atma because it is born out of the power of that electricity, that Atma. It can know as per its design only Anatma, that which is not Atma, the entire universe is Anatma, non-self, it can know that. But it cannot know the Atma. On the subsidence of the mind only, we get an experience of the self. We just remain the self. Knowing the self is being the self. Ariyum, ariyamayum, attradu arivame. Ariyum adu unmai arivagadu. Aridharku, arivitharku, anniyamindri avirthalal. தான் அறிவாகும் பாலன்று அறி. The Atma serves as inseparate from the process of knowing or the process of somebody or something educating you on the self. It remains inseparate from this process of your knowing yourself, right, or knowing anything else, or being educated by something else on yourself. It remains inseparate from this process. How? Why? Because that is the whole basis of knowing and not knowing, knowledge and ignorance. From that ultimate knowledge, from that ultimate power of Brahman, mind is born, which knows the physical world, or which is ignorant of certain things in the physical world. So whatever is born of mind, knowledge or ignorance, dismissed. What is the only one knowledge? The self. How to know the self? Be the self. How to be the self? In the absence of the mind, upon vicharam, enquiry, if the mind subsides into its own birthplace, the Atma shines forth of its own without anybody else having to show the torch on you. Hey, here is your true nature. No, it is self-effulgent. It is self-revealed. There is nobody else who can reveal the self to us because it is self-revealing and ever-present, all the time present. So should we seek the self, Brahman, somewhere in time after 30 years of travel, 300 years of travel? No, it is always there. And should we seek it physically somewhere else? Should I take a rocket and find out Atma? No, it is everywhere. If it is everywhere, it should be within your body also. Naturally, yes. Then why should I search at least in far off places and in far off time? No need. It is already there within you, within me. But why do I not know it? Because of the way I am the body sense. This memory, this solidified memory serves as the screen which blocks our vision of our true nature, which blocks our being, our true nature. Knowing the self is being the self. So the process is only so much. This is what I have been given to understand. Go on doing vicharam, and of course in the process a state of desirelessness should prevail, because if you are too full of desires, the screen will become thicker and thicker. Go on making it thinner and thinner, and in parallel do vicharam. Who am I? We will arrive at our true nature. And in the last 3 words of this verse, he says, Bhagavan says, Palandru Ari. Aridarku Arivitharku Anyamindri Avirudalal. Since the self serves as, within quote, serves as something inseparate from the process of knowing or being educated on who you are, Than Arivagum. It is knowledge itself. It does not require anybody else to educate you on who you are. It is impossible. Because there is nothing in the universe which is other than the self for you to be educated on who you are. That's what he says. I alone am without a second. This is the opening premise of Advaita Vedanta. Okay. The opening premise of the Advaita Vedanta is something one only exists. If someone asked you, hey, how many things are in the universe? Oh, million, billion, zillion things. If you go and ask a jnani, he would say, no, only one. He would simply laugh at the proposition that a billion, zillion things exist in the universe. Because in his experience, only Atma is there. And he knows experientially well that this one only appears through its power of Maya as so many billion individuals, plants, animals, stones, stars, galaxies, etc. Space, time. Even space time does not exist in the experience of the jnani. One only exists. And is it something void? Because if we know something, we know it through the mind, right? But Advaita Vedanta says, Sri Bhagavan says that through vicharam, if the mind goes and subsides in its source, in Atma itself, it subsides, then the self shines forth, he says. Okay, right. Mind has subsided. There is not even an atom of the mind functioning. Right. What is that state? Is it void? Sri Bhagavan says, no, it is not void. It is Sat Chit Anandam. You know the ultimate pointer to Brahman, your ultimate nature? It is said that it is bliss. Without having to seek any kind of pleasure through the body or mind, you will be by default in a state of bliss. Is it only bliss? It is existence, consciousness, bliss. The feeling that I am. Once somebody asked Sri Bhagavan, is Atma, Brahman, closer to thought or feeling? Sri Bhagavan said it is closer to feeling. Is it a feeling that arises from the mind? No. It is something which transcends this mind function totally. So when we have transcended the body, mind, we have rejected the entire universe as not me, something else is there. Something else is left. What is that? Is it a void? No, it is not a void. It is a state of existence, consciousness, bliss. Can we know it? No. Sri Bhagavan says, knowing the self, in Upadesa Saram, he says, knowing the self is being the self. Sounds mysterious. I think beyond this, no, you should accept the opening premise that one only exists, okay? And that pervades the entire universe, including this body, mind, yes. Then, what is the problem? Why do I not know it? The veil of ignorance. What do I do with the veil of ignorance? Inquire, to whom is this veil? To whom is this I thought? I say I am sentimental. To whom is this thought? To me. What is that me? Which is giving birth to this I thought? Which is the birthplace of this I thought? What is it that is appearing as this I thought? What is it that is masquerading as this I thought? If you go on inquiring, slowly the ego will go and merge in the source. And there the self shines forth of its own. So, ariyum ariyamayum attradu arivame. True knowledge is that knowledge which is devoid of knowledge and ignorance. Ariyum adu unmai arivagadu. That which knows, he is now referring to the mind. That which knows things or is ignorant of things is not real knowledge. Then what is real knowledge? Aridarku arivitharku anniyamendri avirthalal. It is something which does not know things through the mind. And it is something you cannot be educated upon by something else. The Atma cannot be educated upon as to who it is. Because it already is knowledge. It is knowledge, it is existence, it is bliss. So here, what is the ultimate lesson? The mind has to subside. The ego has to subside. Through a process of desireless seeking, through vicharam, through inquiry, we will shine forth as that one. That's all. Till it becomes an experiential reality, 1000 questions will pop up. If you simply build an internal logic to this effect that one only exists, which appears as the universe, and that one is what you and I are, if we accept it, or if you don't accept it, be open-minded and explore, slowly our ego will go and merge in the source. We will know our true nature, within quote. Knowing the self is being the self. That's all. So beyond this, I think we should avoid philosophical tangles. Just do inquiry and be ourselves, be done with, be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Let us think about it.